9% as well. So that's a breakdown of growth. Again, Q1 2025, overall growth 7.8, agriculture 2% increase, industry 9% increase, services 9%. So with that summary, we can also summarize a few things by the key sectors. So within agriculture, food production in particular declined by 1% in quarter one 2025 as a result of the decline in harvest for season A 2025 when compared to season A 2024. You recall season A 2024, we had a growth of 8%. And when we look at season A, in particular, food crops, there were some food crops which had a decline, main food crops like maize and beans having a decline of 5% and 1% respectively. But also on the other hand, a growth for Irish and cassava of 3% and 5% respectively. So we had a mix in season A when it came to growth of various crops. Now, exports, we had an increase of 3% due to the increase of 16% in production of coffee. But on the other hand, tea, we had a decline of 9%, moving from an increase of 21% in Q1 2024. So that's the key highlights around agriculture. And when we look at industry, which overall had a growth of 9%, you break down industry in three main parts. One is mining and quarrying, which had a decrease of 3%. But on the other hand, manufacturing activities had an increase of 7%. And construction had an increase of 13%. So those are the three main components under industry. And if you look at a bit of breakdown when it comes to mining and quarrying, for mining specifically, we had a decrease of 6%, and that decrease of mining of 6% is attributed to 18% decrease in coltan exports and 12% decrease in wolfram exports, while in contrast, castellite exports increased by 9%. And so that's a mixture when it comes to mining. On manufacturing, which had an overall increase of 7%, it can be attributed to several components under manufacturing. For example, 22% increase in manufacturing of metal products and machinery, and a 21% increase in manufacturing of non-metal materials, whereas also a 15% increase in manufacturing of chemicals, rubber, and plastic products, and finally a 2% increase in food processing. So all those sub-components under manufacturing lead to an overall increase of 7%. Now, as we mentioned, services had a growth of 13%. Services have several sub-components, and so I'll pick a few of them. Wholesale and retail trade grew by 14%. Transport services grew by 4%, with air transport though decreasing by 10%, while land transport grew by 10%. Then we had hotels and restaurants growing by 5%, information communication services growing by 19%, financial services grew by 8%, public administration services increased by 14%, education services increased by 5%, whereas health services decreased by 1%. So we can see that across the various sectors, overall, we had growth, and hence the overall growth of 7.8%. Thank you, Minister. murakoze natanga incamake mu Kinyarwanda. Mu gihembwe cya mbere cy'umwaka wa 2025 umusaruro mbumbe w'igihugu wari miliyari 5,255 z'amafaranga y'u Rwanda, uvuye kuri miliyari 4,486 mu gihembwe cya mbere cy'umwaka wa 2024, aho twavuga ko ari urwego rw'umusaruro mbumbe. Iyo turebye ibigize umusaruro mbumbe, service zifite uruhare rwa 46% by'umusaruro mbumbe, ubuhinzi bukagira uruhare rwa 24%, inganda zikagira uruhare rwa 23%, hamwe na za service n'ibindi bisigaye bikagira uruhare rwa 7%. None twareba uko umusaruro mbumbe wiyongereye mu gihembwe cya mbere cy'umwaka wa 2025, umusaruro mbumbe w'igihugu wiyongereye ku rwego rwa 7.8. Twareba ku buhinzi bwiyongereye ku rugero rwa 2%, inganda ziyongera ku 9%, naho service ziyongera ku rugero rw'9%. So umusaruro mbumbe wose mu gihembwe cya mbere wiyongereye ku rwego rwa 7.8, ubuhinzi bwiyongera kuri 2, inganda 9, service nazo 9. Iyo turebye ibigize ubuhinzi, tubona ko umusaruro w'ibiribwa ngandurarugo wagabanutse ku rugero rwa 1%, biturutse ku musaruro wavuye mu gihembwe cya mbere season A mwaka wa 2025 wagabanutseho ugereranyije n'igihembwe cya mbere season A cya 2024. Aha kandi tubona ko ibiribwa bimwe byagabanutse. Umusaruro w'ibigori waragabanutse ku rugero rwa 5, ku bishyimbo hagabanukaho 1%, ariko tukabona ko n'ibindi biribwa nabyo byiyongereye. Nubwo hari byagabanutse, hari byiyongereye. Nk'ibirayi byiyongereye ku rwego rwa 3%, imyumbati yongera kuri 5%. Ibi ni bimwe mu ngero nkeya zo twafashe, ariko ku biribwa byose hari byiyongereye, hari byagabanutseho ugereranyije na season A y'umwaka wa 2024. Ikindi tureba ku buhinzi kindi cy'ingenzi ni ibihingwa byohereza mu mahanga ngengabukungu, ho tubona ko hiyongereyeho 3%. Cyane cyane icyabiteye ni ukwiyongera ku ikawa ku rugero rwa 16%, ariko icyayi cyo kigabanukaho 9%. So iyo ni incamake ku bigize ubuhinzi. Turebye ku ruhande rw'inganda, aho twabonye ko umusaruro w'inganda wiyongereye kuri 9%, twafata bimwe muri byo byateye kwiyongera. Kimwe twareba ni ubucukuzi bw'amabuye y'agaciro na kariyeri bwagabanutseho 3%, naho ku bijyanye twareba ku bijyanye na industry cyangwa se biva ku nganda, ho byiyongereyeho 7%, naho ku bijyanye n'ubwubatsi byongeraho 13%. Hari andi makuru avunaguye twaza kureba muri detaye. Service twabonye ko zo ziyongereyeho ku rugero rwa 14%, nako 9%. Muri byo tureba bijyanye n'ubucuruzi byiyongereye kuri 14%, n'izindi service z'amahoteli nazo zagiye ziyongeraho 5%, n'izindi detaye nk'uko twazigaragaje. Mu ncamake rero tubona ko umusaruro mbumbe w'igihugu ku gihembwe cya mbere cya 2025 ahanini kuri subsector zitandukanye hagiye hagira ubwiyongere, akaba ari bwo buvamo 7.8%. Murakoze.
Wakoze cyane DG wa statistique. Honorable Minister, mubyemeye twaha urubuga abanyamakuru kugira ngo bagire icyo babaza. uri bubaze yatubwira amazina ye yombi, ikinyamakuru akorera, hanyuma n'uwo ashaka kugezaho ikibazo. Murakoze.
Murakoze, nitwa Berwa Gakuba Prudence, nkorera Isango Star. Turebye kuri iyi mibare n'uyu musaruro w'umbumbe, bigaragara ko ubuhinzi bwiyongereyeho 2% muri uyu mwaka, ariko twajya tureba neza kuri uyu musaruro w'ibiribwa ngandurarugo, bikagaragara ko wagabanutseho, haba kuri ibishyimbo, ibigori n'ibindi bigaragara mu bihingwa ngandurarugo, kandi ari byo bigaragara ko bitunze abanyarwanda umunsi ku munsi. Ese byaba bifite aho bahuriye n'aho abanyarwanda bagenda bagaragaza bikirimo imbaraga nke, kuko nimba ari byo barya umunsi ku munsi, ku biciro by'amasoko ugasanga barinubira ibiciro bizamuka ry'ibiciro, byaba bifite aho bihuriye? Ese ntabwo u Rwanda rwaba rwarashyize ingamba mu bihingwa byoherezwa mu mahanga, hakibagirwa ibyo abanyarwanda bakonsoma umunsi ku munsi? Ikibazo cyanjye nicyo. Murakoze.
ubundi baba bafite ikibazo kugira ngo tubifatire rimwe.
Murakoze cyane, Honorable Minister, Director General, Vincent Gasana, KT Press. Nshaka gusobanukirwa, of course hari details nko muri agriculture, nko muri uko fluctuations zigenda ziza, ariko ubundi the headline figure of 7.8%, nshaka gusobanukirwa neza ikivuze muri rusange overall to the economy. N'ubu turimo turabirebera muri context ya NST2, so muri rusange 7.8% iratubwira iki muri economy, tutarebye too much kuri the normal fluctuations. Murakoze.
RBA.
Murakoze, nitwa Solange Umurerwa, nkorera RBA. Nyina nashaka kubaza by'umwihariko ku bijyanye n'icyo mugenzi wanjye yarakomojeho, mbaza ntese hari ingamba ki kugira ngo uyu musaruro ujyanye n'ibiribwa cyangwa se ibifasha umuturage muri rusange mu buzima bwe bwa buri munsi urusheho kwiyongera, kuko nimba tuvuga ngo ibyo mu mahanga biri kwiyongera, bikorwa na wa muturage wabashije kubaho neza. Niba iby'ingenzi bimufasha kubaho neza biri kugabanuka, harakorwa iki kugira ngo icyo kibazo gikemuke? Murakoze.
Minisitiri, twasubiza ibyenda tukaza gufata na website.
nagira icyo nsubiza ku bibazo bya mbere bibiri, wenda ibindi minisitiri aza kunyunganira. Prudence yavugaga ati igabanuka ry'umusaruro ku bihingwa ngandurarugo cyangwa se ibihingwa byo kurya binagira ingaruka ku biciro ku isoko. Akavuga ati ese focus yaba iri kuri exports bitandukanye na food crops. Ndibaza ko aho minisitiri yaza kuhavuga neza, ariko nashaka gusobanura igabanuka. Iyo tureba igabanuka cyangwa se kwiyongera, tuba dukompara dushingiye ku gihembwe cyashize cy'undi mwaka. Aha rero uko nabisobanuye, navuze ko igihembwe cya mbere cy'umwaka wa 2024 cyari cyaragize ubwiyongere buri hejuru tugereranyije n'ibindi bihembwe. Season A yari yaragenze neza uko twabibonye, umusaruro uba mwiza ugereranyije n'ibindi bihembwe byinshi by'imyaka ishize. Iyo haje undi mwaka dukompara, tuvuga ngo se noneho iki gihembwe ugereranyije na cya kindi cyari cyaragenze neza, aho noneho ikiyongereho kimeze gute? So ibi rero ntabwo bivuze ngo season A yagenze nabi, oya, nuko bidahagije ugereranyije na season A yabanje y'umwaka ushize, ku buryo level aho twageze byari munsi gato ya season A yushize. Ahangaha ni iby'ingenzi. Byaba bitameze neza ubaye uva ahantu hatari hameze neza, ni ukuvuga ngo umusaruro wari hasi ukongera nanone ukajya no hasi. Iyo ugiye muri trend imeze ityo, ibyo ni ibintu bitameze neza kuko bizana shortage. Ariko iyo turebye mu biciro tubona ko ibiciro general inflation ikiri mu rugero rwemewe, cyangwa se rutari hejuru, ariko ndibaza ko ingamba zo zikomeje. Minisitiri araza kugira icyo bivugaho kugira ngo ubuhinzi bukomeze buhabwe agaciro. Wenda navuga no ku kibazo cya Vincent, what does the 7.8% mean for the economy? Yeah, one is obviously the economy, the growth of the economy means that there are several activities happening in the economy. And when activities happen in the economy, one, you have sustained employment or new employment. It's either a factor of sustained opportunities for work or even new opportunities for work. So that's good in terms of well-being of people. People have something to do. And creation of value. That also means there is creation of value. There is investments happening which will bring a return ahead. So you want to see that there is continuous creation of value, added value across several things. Maybe the third thing I can say, especially for agriculture, it matters so much that agriculture continues to grow because population is growing, and so you need to always have growth for agriculture to have sufficient food for satisfying the population and ensuring that prices keep stable. So it means a lot, or it's a key factor to monitor. That's why we really pay attention. It's a huge exercise, it's a huge undertaking we do. We collect data from across all sectors, and we want to see how the health of the economy. And so this indication of a growth and the value of a growth matters. If a growth is small, 2% or 1%, it is a growth, but it's not so maybe good. So you need growth of above 7, but again, the minister is best placed in given the ambitions of the country to speak to that. Minister, I thought those were the two ones I can comment to. Thank you.
Murakoze. Imibare nanjye nibwo nkiyibona. So tuba tukeneye natwe umwanya kugira ngo tubanze tumve neza icyo iyi mibare ivuga. Ariko icyo navuga, hari ikibazo cya mbere n'ikibazo cya gatatu birajyana. Ikibazo kijyanye ese ntabwo twashize imbaraga nyinshi mu bihingwa tohereza hanze, hanyuma ibihingwa ngandurarugo tubishyiramo imbaraga nkeya. Igisubizo cyihuse ni oya. Kandi narebaga imibare, nari mfashe umwanya kugira ngo mbanze ndebe imibare. Hari table, nimujya kureba muri detail, hari table yitwa table 1A. Muze kuyireba table 1A. Nimba mutayifite ariko muraza kuyireba. Igaragaza amapercentage y'izi kategori zose. Iyo turebye ahitwa food crop hafite 13%. Ahitwa food crop hafite 13%. Export crop ni 1%. Nuwa ko ibihingwa ngandurarugo ni 13%. Ibihingwa tohereza amahanga ni 1%. Ahangaha bigaragaza ko imbaraga nyinshi ziri mu bihingwa ngandurarugo. Ariko mu bijyanye na growth, uburyo umusaruro uzamuka, iyo uzamuka uva kuri 1% biroroha kuzamuka kuruta uko wazamuka uva kuri 13%. Hanyuma ikindi twarabibonye ko cyane cyane iyi sezo itangira imvura yaratinze, twarabibonye imvura yaratinze, hari abateye ibigori bongera batera ubwa kabiri, hari abateye ibishyimbo hanyuma bihura n'ikibazo, ibyo twarabibonye. Ingamba ni za zindi ariko zisaba gushyiramo imbaraga nyinshi kurushaho. Gahunda yo kuhira, irrigation, tumaze imyaka tushyiramo ubushobozi, tugomba kuzashyiramo ubushobozi, tugomba gukomeza dushyiramo ubushobozi ariko tukabwongera kugira ngo risk ijyanye n'ikirere igenda igabanuka. Gukoresha imbuto nziza, gukoresha ifumbire n'ubujyanama, no gukomeza gushyira ingufu mu bujyanama mu buhinzi. Izo gahunda uko nzivuze zose ziri mu gahunda zibanze cyane cyane Minagri n'izindi nzego bireba bakurikirana hafi. Hanyuma regarding the 7.8, you said 7.8 big picture. Under normal circumstances, 7.8% GDP is very good under normal circumstances, because this means that if you have 6% to 7% growth, every 10 years your GDP can double. Every 10 years, if you have 7% GDP, every 10 years your GDP can double, which is under normal circumstances quite impressive. But because we're a country that wants to move quickly, turashaka kugabanya ubukene vuba cyane. We are aiming for 9.3. According to NST2, we are aiming for 9.3. So we have not succeeded. If you compare what we are aiming for and what we have achieved, there is a gap. Again, it's a gap, but it doesn't mean that 7.8 is bad. 7.8 is good. Many countries are at 3%, 2%, some are at 1%. Actually, the average of Africa, sub-Saharan Africa, I think it's around 4%. It's around 4%, sub-Saharan Africa. So Rwanda at 7.8% is quite good, but we want more. And when we look at the issues, we can actually get more. For example, if we didn't have problems with agriculture, if we didn't have challenges with agriculture that are mainly climate related, we could easily get 9+. So thank you very much. Other questions? Yes.
Naveen.
Hi, Minister, how are you? Thank you so much for allowing me to ask the question. My name is Ndero Ganga. I'm with Bloomberg News. I have two questions for you. The projection that you gave us for Q1, 7.8%, quite strong, and it looks like if it continues like this, the government could surpass the projection that you had made for this year of 7.1%, taking into account some of the exogenous factors. And then bearing in mind that you read also quite an ambitious budget, 20% above what you had previously estimated. I'm just curious to find out, will you be going back to the markets, particularly the Eurobond markets, to try and raise money because the indicators look good for you? Or do you still feel like the rates are a little bit high and they're not as attractive as they could be? Then you mentioned that the 7.8 is not good enough, but it's still above what your projections were. So will you be revising up the 7.1 that you had projected earlier on?
New times.
Thank you. Edwin Ashimwe, I'm with the New Times. Minister, thank you for the presentation and also to the DJ and ISR. I'm more interested in looking at the ICT boom for this quarter. If you could unpack for us the 19% growth, what is fueling this boom? But also in a broader context, how you're leveraging on this momentum in this coming financial year to keep the trajectory like this. And if you could tell us some of the investments that we're likely to see in this sector. Thank you.
Arabi once again.
Thank you. Mine is just a humble request about the meaning of this 7.8, the meaning in regard to the economy in Rwanda, since we are reporting for the Rwandan community. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. I think that will be all.
I think 7.8 is yours, because these numbers are for statistics. And are we going back to the market? We have no plans of going back to the market, especially vis-a-vis these numbers. We've just seen these numbers, so we'll take time, we digest, but we go to the market based on two things. We go to the market based on need. We first have to have a need that is tailored to the market. So far, we have not designed a need that takes us to the Eurobond at the moment. Then two, we go to the market if the market is good. So far, the market is still high, so we don't have plans to go to the market at the moment. If we have plans to go to the market, we will tell you when we have plans to go to the market. Are we revising our projections? Not yet. We just saw these numbers as all of you, so we are not revising yet. We have 7.1%. That was our realistic forecast. We have 7.8, which is good. Ideally, we want to wait for the second quarter and then see what is happening. Then we decide whether we want to revise or not. The ICT boom, I think, Deje, you look at the details. ICT boom, what is there? Then regarding what investments, we talked about investments during our budget process. First of all, we said that we have a plan, we have a 5-year plan, that is NST2. We are going to the second year of NST2. We did the first year of NST2. So broadly speaking, our focus is to implement NST2 faster. We have a lot of investments in agriculture. We have a lot of investment in roads. We said some roads that we are going to invest in. For example, we're going to invest in Prince House Massacre so that we improve on transportation. But that's just an example. There are also other examples. We are finalizing the study of Nyabugogo to Muhanga. We are finalizing that study, but we also have other road projects. But as we said, the major investment we have this year, and for that matter, for the next 2.5 years, 3 years, is the new airport. But other projects will also continue, investing in health, investing in education, investing in agriculture, investing in livestock. We are going to invest heavily in livestock, especially to improve the breeds that Rwandans have. Continue support industry. We talked about investments in industrial parks. We said we are going to support the industry in Rwanda. We are going to invest in a waste water treatment plant for leather processing. So the plan is NST2, more momentum, special focus on the new airport. Thank you very much. Deja, you can.
Thank you. I'll start with Edwin's question. You are right. We've had quite sustained growth, high growth for information and communication. So what's accounting for that growth is the increasing uptake of ICT services, namely calls and internet connectivity. If you recall, in one of the recent publications we had of EICV, we had a significant increase in number of people using mobile phones in the country, over 80%. And with that, it means more people are communicating, are engaging and calling, but also internet. Internet has picked up quite significantly across, especially in the urban areas. So those activities, that turnover of is what accounts mainly, is what drives this increase we've had in the last number of years. Kuri Solange yasabye ati twongere dusobanure icyo ubwiyongere bw'umusaruro mbumbe buvuze, kuvuga 7.8%. Iyo tuvuze kwiyongera k'umusaruro mbumbe w'igihugu biba bivuze ngo ni ibikorwa biba byabaye mu gihugu muri sekiteri zose. Hari ibikorwa bishya biba, n'urugero hari umuhanda mushya wubatswe, cyo ni igikorwa. Hari ibikorwa biba bisana, biba bisubiramo. Ibyo bikorwa iyo biba mu gihugu, haba mu buhinzi, abahinga, haba mu nganda, haba bo muri business, ese ni business nshya yafunguye ikora cyangwa se yagutse, niko kwiyongera k'umusaruro mbumbe. Ariko icy'ingenzi nicyo bivuze, kuvuga ngo ibikorwa biriyongereye. Dufashe urugero rw'umuhanda, icya mbere ni akazi. Uko igikorwa kibaye gishya cyangwa se gisana, ni akazi kaba kabaye. So kwiyongera k'umusaruro mbumbe bijyanye n'ibikorwa, bijyanye n'akazi. Akazi iyo kabayeho biba bifashije abantu kwinjiza amafaranga, n'iby'ingenzi, kuko abanyarwanda bakomeza kwiyongera. Izo opportunities zikwiye rero kuguma nazo ziyongera. Icya kabiri, nk'ubuhinzi, uko ubuhinzi bwiyongera niko indyo ziboneka mu gihugu, ibyo kurya biboneka. So hari akazi, hari ibyo kurya, ariko hari no kuvuga ngo ibyo usaguye unabyohereza. Kwiyongera kwabyo bivuze ko bimwe byo exportinga nabyo ubona amadovize akinjira. So iki ni ikintu cy'ingenzi rero, ni ubuzima bw'igihugu. Iyo tureba umusaruro mbumbe uba ukubiyemo ibintu byinshi cyane bireba ubuzima bw'igihugu bwose. Ni byiza rero kubona ko umusaruro mbumbe wiyongera. Iyo wiyongereye ku rugero rwiza, ibyo minisitiri yavuze mu kanya, guhera kuri 6, 7 kujya hejuru, urwo ni urugero rwiza, kuko biba bivuze ngo ni ubukire bwiyongereye ku gihugu. Wenda bivuze amagambo make, ni ubukire bwiyongereye ku gihugu, bivuze ubuzima bwiza ku batuye icyo gihugu. Rero buri bihugu byose iyi ni indikateri cyangwa se ni ikintu, nicyo kintu cya mbere cy'ingenzi kigaragaza aho igihugu kijya mu iterambere. Murakoze.
Edwin?
Thank you, DJ. I wanted to circle around the same question on that I can do probably after this. I just want to also go back to the numbers. Minister is advising that for the numbers we can liaise with you. With industry, it's growing by 9%, but two of the major sectors, mining and textiles, are not showing the same message. If you can speak to us about the story of these numbers, but also the kind of signal it's sending for our industrial trajectory for the remaining half of the year. Thank you.
Okay, we can take that. So yes, in terms of overall industry, we talked of a growth of 9%, but when it comes to mining and quarrying, that subsector under industry, a negative growth of 3%. So as we explained, when it comes to mining, mining is so dependent on situations and international demand for especially minerals. And we have seen fluctuations. If you look at the numbers, there are some quarters where we've had big growth and then low growth. So number one, it's the fact that depending on the situation on international markets, sometimes less exports are done in a given quarter, and maybe in another quarter we see more. So that's one factor. The second one is for some specific minerals like castellite, we have seen in the recent past a bit of change where the private sector involved is consolidating some stock for processing, and then in the next quarter maybe export happens. So we gave a case like castellite, especially in this quarter, we saw the huge increase in processed castellite of 90%. Now, in another quarter, you may see not much growth. So there's another evolving factor of consolidation processing before export. So it's just a fluctuation, maybe depending on all those factors. You talked about textiles. We've seen a bit of decrease in turnover for industries, especially processing textiles. We are yet to investigate the main factors, but maybe in the next discussion when we meet, we'll have more connections of what's causing that decrease. It could be, again, different factors at play here, but whenever we have details, we'll share that. But generally, the reason is just a decrease in turnovers for some of those industries involved in textiles. Thank you.
It's not a question, it's just clarification. You said you'll not be going to the market at the moment. So does that mean that you've ruled out this year? You'll not be going to the market this year?
No, we don't rule out anything. We haven't taken any decision to go on the market. But when we take a decision, we'll let you know. But so far, no plans as of yet. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Minister.